Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And for the subject of this video, some time ago I had done a review of the classic NBC sitcom The Cosby Show. Now I'm going to be doing a review of the spinoff series called Death and Will. There was some originally starred Lisa Bonet, and she only starred in the first season. Uh, Kadeem Hardison, John Wells, Jasmine Guy, notable characters. But this show did start off with at the time, when it first started a lot of controversy, which one get into. Uh, this show is supposed to have been a vehicle for Lisa Bonet, because she was, other than maybe, except for maybe Theo and maybe Malcolm Jamal Warner and Rudy on the Cosby Show, Lisa Bonet was I think like the most popular show character on the original Cosby Show. Uh, There was something fascinating with Lisa Bonet because she was not only one of the best looking kid of all the children, except for maybe Sabrina Brew, who played the older sister on the show. Anyway, she was graduating. Her character was supposed to be graduating from high school, and there was some pushing going on for Lisa Bonet's character to go to Hillman, which was the fictional college that Cliff and Claire Huxtable went to, as well as the Huxtables' Cliff Huxtable's grandparents went to as well. So they had like a tradition of sending kids there. So Lisa Bonet decided, okay, Sandra did not go to Hillman, so Denise, they're pushing Denise to go. So okay, I go. And they decided to spin her character off into her own show. And like I said earlier, she only lasted 1 year in the series, because she had decided to drop out because she wasn't doing well. Her character was not doing well in college, and that was a big, huge problem in this series. The problem with the series was particularly the first season or first couple of seasons, and I thought most of the episodes that I saw, because after a while I stopped watching it because the show was getting worse and worse and worse, and not better. Mainly because of the fact that you did not see any of these. It's supposed to be a college themed show. You never see any of these students in class. Never. And I remember one time, any of the, in fact, with Felice Bonet's character, or after she left, you never see any of these characters inside any of the inside in classroom. The only time maybe if like Lisa Bonet's character was like flunking out, and she talked to some of her professors. Those were the only college themed scenes that you had in this show. Most of the time, you see him hanging out at the college cafe or coffee shop or in the dorms. That was it. I mean, you didn't see him having trouble trying to pass a midterm, trying to pass a final, getting harassed or getting in trouble with one of the professors, or trying to. I think they did one episode where trying to join a fraternity during Pledge Week. But other than that, I mean, you did not see them at all worrying about college issues, which was a huge problem, which was a part of the huge criticism of A Different World. The other criticism was that there was not a single white face in this show. Which I mean, I grew up at a time which it didn't really bother me, but something that of course everybody, all the critics plus TV viewers would point out, because I grew up at a time in the '70s where I grew up with a lot of all black television shows. The television wasn't really all black, but I grew up with black themed shows like Jefferson's, Good Times. Uh, and also, of course, the Cosby Show. I grew up with that. So I grew up with plenty of black shows. But the difference between all those black shows and A Different World was that at least once in a while you'll see a white person in there. But A Different World, you didn't see no one white person, not any of the professors, not any of the students, because Hillman College Like I said earlier, the fictional college on the show was supposed to be based on Howard University, which was one of the first, if not the first, all-black universities in the United States. So it's supposed to be based on that. So you're not supposed to see any white people on the show. Uh, but there was enough of a stink that during the first season of the show, they brought in an unknown actress, which later on would be a name as soon as being a few years down the line, an Oscar-winning actress by the name of Marissa Tomei came in on the show, and for like about half of the first season, came on as the only token white person on the show, and after the first season, she left along with Lisa Bonet, and you never had another black white person on the show ever again. We just put her on there to stop the controversy about not having a white person on the show. But the show bombed. For me, it bombed out, and the reason why the show had lasted, I think it lasted at least 6 or 7 years. I don't even remember how long it actually lasted, but I know it lasted just as long as the rest of the time that Cosby Show was on the air. Because the Cosby Show ended in 1992, I think this show went at least a year or two longer. So after the Cosby Show ended, the show didn't last much longer because the ratings that the Cosby Show generated, it was the highest rated show not only on NBC television but also of all of television. And the ratings for the Cosby Show carried over into a different world because most of the shows that when a different world was created, most of the shows that were on the 8 o'clock hour. I'm talking about when the Cosby Show ended, the Fox was already there already. You have Fox, you had CBS, you had NBC, and you had ABC. They all had a 1 hour show at 8 o'clock, except for NBC because they had the Cosby Show and all the other comedies till 10 o'clock. Then they had Ali Law on at that time, and then eventually ER. Like 2 years later, after Cosby Show ended, you eventually had ER. But most between 8 and 10 p.m. you had comedies. So the ratings they had for the Cosby Show carried over to a different world. I know I went to a long explanation, but that was a fact. But A Different World did absolutely nothing for me. I mean, I thought it was a horrible show. There's nothing really anything on the interesting with most of the characters. Even though you did have Jasmine Guy speaking with a really exaggerated Southern accent. And of course, if you see Jasmine Guy today doing interviews or doing other shows, I think most recently the Vampire Diaries on the CW network, she doesn't speak with a Southern accent. Naturally, she does not have a Southern accent, but she did on Different World, and it was highly exaggerated. You also had the cool guy with Kadeem Hardison playing this cool guy with the sunglasses attached to his regular eyeglasses, and then eventually he had this crush on Lisa Bonet, and after when she left the show, he turned his affections to Jasmine Guy, and those two characters eventually got married on the series during the series. I think I do remember that the series pretty much ended, or at least ended the next season, with the instance what happened in the LA riots, because the show was still on the air when they had the LA riots. I think they did an episode, or at least a cliffhanger episode, where Dwayne and Kadeem Hardison and Jasmine Guy's characters went to LA at the start of the LA riots. After the Rodney King verdict. And that was pretty. And by that point, I stopped watching the show at that point because it was horrible. I was never a big fan of that show. Obviously because I think the show was bad. They didn't, like they say, they never had any real college issues going on this show. Especially during the time when Lisa Bonet was on, they were worried about doing competitions, doing partying all the time, which of course college students do now. They're more worried about partying and getting drunk out of their gourds, and going to football games more than studying and passing and earning a degree. Uh, which of course you did. If you're doing a college show, you gotta do it talking about the kids worrying about earning a degree and passing the class courses, and have episodes where they get beef into the with the professors, who professors have a grudge against picking on a particular student. That's because of being mean, or just a violent person, or have some kind of grudge against a particular student, in terms of the main cast. That never happened on this series. It never happened at the time that I was watching it. That's why I never was a real huge fan of the show, because of all that stuff. But later on, after Lisa Bonet left, you did have characters who became big stars after the show. You did have Jada Pinkett, who later on, of course, became Jada Pinkett Smith, marrying Will Smith, obviously, and she became a star of her own after her time on a different role. But other than her, there hasn't been really all that many big stars that came out of a different role. Jasmine Guy had a decent career afterwards. Kareem Hardison did appear in the famous movie White Men Can't Jump. He was on that movie for a while, especially the beginning part of that film. Dawn Wells. I don't know what the hell happened. What happened to her? Because Lisa Bonet, she's pretty much of her career, because she did after she left a different role, she did do a movie called Angel Heart, which was a bust in the box office. Maybe I do a movie sometime. That a movie review, maybe. Because that movie was so bad, it's not even worth doing a review over. That's how bad Angel Heart is. The only real novelty is seeing Lisa Bonet naked in that movie. That's the only real novelty. Other than that, the movie was just awful. Like the show was. I mean, I didn't think Lisa Bonet had the I don't know, call it, like, charisma to carry a show of her own. But on the Cosby Show, people were just fascinated with her. Me, I mean, I did like watching her on. I do like watching her on screen, because she did have a presence on screen, but she didn't have a presence to carry on her own. Be the lead star of a show. I think the reason why she got her own show is because she couldn't work with Bill Cosby anymore. Maybe because she knew what he was in terms of spiking people's coffees or teas and trying to make them. Maybe she knew what he was then and didn't want to work with him anymore. So that's why she kept leaving and coming back on the show a couple of times. I mean, she came back on the show like twice, but three times she left the Cosby Show. Once to do a different role, she came back and then she left again. And then after she came back on the show the second time, she left for the third time and never came back on the show during the last season of the Cosby Show. She didn't even come back for the finale. Of course, the finale of the Cosby Show when Theo graduated. But on the Different World show, she never came back on a Different World. The only time when that happened, when you saw Lisa Bonet, was when there was an episode in Different World where Dwayne, the Kathleen Hardison character, and Jasmine Guy went to visit the Huxtables for some reason, and found out that Lisa Bonet's character got married. And there was a storyline on the Cosby Show where she got married to a Navy guy and adopted her a stepdaughter. So when Dwayne left and was all bummed out that his so-called love of his life got married, he was bummed out, and that's when his affections at that point turned to Jasmine Guy's character, and he developed a relationship and everyone going ooh and all like they did on Saved by the Bell. But as There's a show, I know we're going to wrap this up a little bit because there's not much I can say about the show. That's how bad Different World was. Uh, that show was just, yeah, it was terrible. I mean, there was when spin-offs were awful. Most of them were awful. I know recently just did a review of The Jeffersons, which was one of the best spin-offs, uh, spin-off series. But this one was definitely one of the worst, if not the worst, spin-off show. And we had to make a top 10 on this. This was definitely be in the top 5 of the worst spin-off shows ever. Because that's how bad it was back in the day. Because I don't think anything was redeeming of the Cosby Show other than there was, a spin-off of the Cosby Show. And thankfully, they never attempted to make another spin-off series of the Cosby Show. Because that's how bad A Different World was. That's how horrible it was. They never attempted again to make another spin-off. Which is a good thing. And it's surprising that last year, in 2014, they didn't make a 30th anniversary reunion of the Cosby Show. Uh, I know there was references to it. I know Oprah always makes a big deal of the Cosby Show, saying it's the greatest black show of all time. It may be a bit of a stretch, especially now after all the allegations against Bill Cosby. It may be a bit of a stretch now because what Cosby has been accused of doing, which I'm not going to get into. I think that ruined the legacy of the Cosby Show, in my opinion. Even when the Cosby Show left after eight very good years, the show show pretty much still the number one show. But now the legacy has been tarnished because of all the allegations against Bill Cosby. And it's really a shame because Bill Cosby has made such a huge impact on television that now his legacy, his television legacy, and his comedy legacy has been ruined quite a bit. So this is my review of. I know I went on a tangent here, but I feel that all this stuff should be known, and I think the downhill for Cosby's career went downhill with making a spin-off series of the Cosby Show. Because to me, one of the things that ruined the Cosby Show was the spin-off series. It was so bad. Well, I know I'm getting to the review of the Cosby Show again, which I'm not going to do. So let me review of A Different World. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. And also you can check out my older videos, not only on my YouTube channel, but also you can check out my older videos on rowdyc.com. That's ROWDY, the last C.com. And you can also check out the Rowdy Reviewers content on all of his reviews, which he's done, I think done over 150 reviews over 5 years, doing all of his TV trash reviews. And let me tell you, Chris Lee Moore, who is the Rowdy Reviewer, he's done a great job on his website. And we made an agreement to say, hey, you need to share some of my videos onto his website to add to not only to his content, but also to add more viewership to my videos as well. So it's kind of like a mutual admiration society almost, because I'm helping him by advertising for his page, like I'm doing now, and he's helping me try and get more viewership for my videos. I guess he kind of likes my reviews a little bit, kind of likes my comments, because I've been a fan of his since he started. So I've been behind, I've been following his videos pretty much since he started. I've been one of his fans since he began, really. So that's why he's having me out, because because of him, I'm doing my own review videos because of him. By the way, because of his videos, I'm doing my own shtick, and and I told him that I'm doing my reviews because I like what he's doing, even though he does more editing in his videos than I do. So check out his site, rowdyc.com, for knowing my older videos under my the title Bobcat Joe. You can also check out my videos of my own, all my especially channel videos that I have posted, my own personal videos I have posted, which aren't reviews. I posted that on my page as well. So please check them out. Check out on my YouTube channel plus on RallyC.com. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all next time.